Welcome back, crafty friends. It's Alicia of the Call Me Crafty Al YouTube channel, and today I am back with another creation for the Oh So Inspired collaboration that I host here on YouTube. This month we have lots of new crafty YouTubers joining us, so I will have an asterisk by each of the new members in the description box below, but I hope you will go and see everybody's creations, leave them a little love, give them a thumbs up, because we all have fun doing this, but we definitely like to know that people are enjoying what we are doing. For this month, I chose a Memorydex pin that I found on Pinterest. So I will insert that now. And I will also link that pin below. I had seen lots of pins lately about these Memorydex cards, and I'd never done one. And I'm not sure if Memorydex is like a name brand for a product, but really I think it's just a fancy way to say decorated Rolodex card. That's all I can tell. I haven't done a lot of research, but I just thought it would be fun to give it a try. For mine today, I used papers from the new Rooftop Garden Stack, which is one of the brand new Michaels Hot Buy pads. And I used a lot of the cutouts and patterned paper strips in there for my decoration, so that was really awesome. This die I used was a camera die from MFT, or My Favorite Things, and it wasn't actually a Rolodex card. You'll see in the video that I used a punch to get those notches at the bottom, but I thought it would be fun to use a different shape for my Rolodex card. But here on the back side, again, I've just used some strips, like one of the sheets of paper from Rooftop Garden had a whole lot of different strips and some circles. So I used some of those to layer down here at the bottom. I'm not sure if these are supposed to like have your contact information on the back, if that's what it's for. Again, could have done some research, but I ended up putting too much decoration on it that I don't really have a lot of room to write any personal information. Mine is actually 2 die cuts put back to back, so you might be able to see that there. On the other side, it's gonna look more like a camera. I used the circle cutout for the lens to make a shaker window in it. And you'll see in the video, what I started out doing was not necessarily how it ended up. Originally, I had my circle on the blue paper behind the window, but I put too many shaker bits in my shaker window. So I ended up taking it apart and putting that on the front, and I think it turned out nice. I like that. I really hope that you're going to enjoy today's video. If you do, I hope you'll give it a thumbs up when you're done watching. If this is your first time to my channel and you like what I see, I hope that you'll hit subscribe. And if you are already a subscriber, welcome back. It's so glad to have you. Let's go ahead and see how I made this. To start off, here's a look at what I used today for my project. First was this Rolodex punch. I think I got it on an office supply store. The next is this camera die from My Favorite Things. And finally, patterned papers from the new Rooftop Garden Stack, the Hot Buy pad from Michaels. Of course, I also used adhesive and tools. The first thing I did was cut down all of the patterned papers I was going to use. My main papers I cut to 3.5 inches wide, and then I went in and just cut some of these paper strips from the patterned paper. For my Memorydex card, I need 2 layers of pattern paper, and so they back up to each other correctly. The first pattern paper I just cut normally, and the second one I cut with the back side or the white side to the die. That way it would be die cut in reverse. Once I had my main die cuts ready, I used the Rolodex punch to put the notches in the bottom. I did one piece at a time, just making sure when I punched the second one, it was exactly where the first one was at. Here I am getting ready the decoration for the inside of the viewfinder or the lens on the camera. I'm going to use the same pattern paper from the back side for the background of this, and then I'm just using one of the little sentiment circles to go in the middle. Here I am just cutting down a scrap of clear cardstock to fit behind the lens in the camera. Before I make the shaker window and put the 2 pieces together, I decided to go ahead and decorate the back side of the Memorydex card. I'm using some of the pattern paper strips from the paper pad. You'll see here that I did spend a good amount of time figuring out exactly how I wanted to layer those pieces. I waited until I knew exactly what I wanted to do before I added adhesive to the back of the second 2 strips. For some extra dimension, I added my little vintage camera circle to the back of the card with some foam tape. Now it's time to decorate the front of the Memorydex card. At first I thought I was going to add some fussy cut pieces, and I did go ahead and fussy cut the heart and the typewriter, but you'll see I don't actually use them on there. The typewriter just seemed to get swallowed up by the pattern on the front of this, so I guess I'll just save that for later. And now it is time to pull out my big roll of foam tape and start making the border for my shaker window. I have mentioned before that this foam tape roll was given to me by my sister, and the company she bought it from is no longer in business. I used to have a link to a product on Amazon, but it looks like what I used to link to is sold out. I pulled out some sequins and micro beads that I thought would look good in this shaker window. Once I had my sequin mix ready and I went to pour it into my window, This was the point that I realized I might have too many shaker bits in there. I did decide to go ahead and give it a try, so I removed all the liner except off one section and went ahead and put the two pieces back to back. And the verdict was there was definitely too many sequins in there. So I carefully pulled those apart and removed the oh hey circle from the inside. I decided to use another strip of patterned paper behind my sentiment circle on the front, just so that it looked like it went with the back side of the Memorydex card. Here I am adding some of the outside edge of the Stampin' Up! Stampin' Dimensionals to each side of the camera, just so there's some foam there to keep the two sides separated. Once I added some tiny gold gems below my sentiment, my first Memorydex was finished. So as you can see, I had a couple bumps with fussy cutting things that I didn't end up using, or having to remove my shaker window after I got it done, but I really like how this ended up, and I think it's fun for my very first Memorydex. Again, if you agree, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up below. What I hope you'll do next, after that thumbs up and subscribe if you're not already, is go visit all of the other collaborators in today's episode. I hope you're having a crafty day. Bye-bye.